All right, welcome to Grid Drawing for Middle School. So you were going to watch this video before you start, which I have here. This is going to be an awesome project. And at first you're probably thinking, I can't do anything this realistic. You can get close, okay? That's all we're looking for, so that you get better than where you are right now. So here's an example of a drawing, and it looks like a picture. We call that hyper-realism. And we are going to study some hyper-realistic artists that your teacher can take you to on this site. You can look at some really cool pieces they do. So the goal for this piece is to create an enlarged, realistic portrait with a focus on value transitions, highlights, and contrast. So I'm going to do one video for this project, and then each day your teacher can walk you through what to do, because there's videos for each day and things like that. So your media is going to be pencil on paper. We're going to do 8 by 10. If you decide to do something larger, it's going to change what we do to grid your reference photo. So make sure that if you do want to do larger, that you talk to your teacher about it first. You want to make sure you choose a close-up image that has a high quality resolution. A lot of times we pick an image that's kind of blurry, or when we zoom in we can't really see what it is, and that makes it really hard to get details. So make sure you pick close-up, the face, maybe some neck, maybe some shoulders, but you don't want to do a whole person. It can be really tricky, okay? The closer up the better. If you have a black and white image, or if you choose a color image, then you definitely want to make sure that you turn it to black and white using your computer. It's super easy just to edit it, and then it makes it easier when you do it in pencil because it's already in black and white for you. Your rubric is here. Your teacher will go over this with you when you do your self-evaluation day, but you're more than welcome to check it out. Remember, what you are going to write down is what's in bold, and in parentheses I just wrote down some things to help you understand what it means. All right, class 1, you're going to brainstorm ideas and select your photo. So you're going to watch the video you're watching now, brainstorm who you would like to draw for this piece. It can literally be anyone that's realistic. Again, make sure that it's appropriate, or you find an appropriate picture of whoever you'd like to do, especially if it's a celebrity, and them not doing anything they shouldn't be. But you're going to watch the gridding video below, and this video is going to show you how to go to this site, how to save your picture, to grab it on this through this site and get it gridded like this. Instead of printing these and gridding them by hand, I'm going to put this in your hand so that you can find your picture and you can grid it out. So you're going to want to watch this video, and then you're going to go to this site, and it's going to actually show you how to do it. So I kind of walk you through it to make it really easy. So that's your goal for today, is to pick your picture and get it gridded out, but in 4 by 5, because that's what's going to work with your 8 by 10 paper. It's like a proportion like you've learned in math class. If you get done early today with those things, practice drawing the person you chose in your sketchbook, just freehand, just to get an idea of their features and things like that. Also here you can see this is the picture that I selected, and then I cropped it and I gridded it using this same process that's here and this website that I linked here for you. And then we're going to grid out your paper another class, but it has to match up. So you have to make sure you do your grid correctly. Otherwise, you can be the best artist in the world. If you don't grid it correctly, it's not going to line up. All right, class 2, you're going to practice with the media. Today, you're going to work on cross-hatching, okay? There's a video right here that shows you how to cross-hatch. Our idea for this is to cross-hatch to get rid of the lines. And it's kind of like a magic trick where the more lines you draw, the less lines you see, as long as you do them in a particular way. So you're going to do layers at a vertical angle and a diagonal angle. And you can see here, when you watch this video today, that the more layers the artists add, the less lines you see. So it's really cool, and it works really well for people because you don't want to see shading lines on a person. And in this way, we don't have those deep creases where you're pressing hard. You're just adding lots of light layers to get the value, which should be the lightness or darkness that you want in your piece. So you're going to watch this first so that you learn how to crosshatch. Then you're going to create an 8-part value scale and a sphere using this method. If you have extra time today, make sure that your picture is gridded to 4 by 5 from last class, and then you can practice freehanding that person that you were drawing in your sketchbook until everybody's ready to move on to the next step. All right. All right, so after you get done watching this video, this is going to show you here how to do a value scale. Now this one has 10. You can just go to 8. It doesn't really matter. It's up to you. If you want to do 10, you can do 10. I typically say 8. That's kind of enough values, but you want to go from black to white, and you want to make that a gradual change, just like you'll see in the video here. Then you're going to draw a circle, and I want you to take your cross-hatching technique that you just learned and create a sphere where you have a highlight where the light is bouncing off the object, you have a shadow, and you can see the different values that are in this sphere. So I want you to do this as well in your sketchbook today, and that's really going to help you because these things are going to be used when you create your portrait. All right, so again today you're going to learn about cross-hatching and then create an 8-part value scale in a sphere in your sketchbook. All right, class 3. Now, you are going to grid your paper today. This is so important, okay? You're going to make sure you start with an 8 by 10 white piece of paper. So hopefully your teacher has already cut paper for you that is 8 by 10 because you want to make sure that's the size of your paper to start. You're going to watch the video below to grid your paper correctly. Make sure you don't jump ahead. Teachers, you can pause as you go to make sure everyone's doing the correct thing, and make sure you have someone check it when you get done, okay? Also make sure you think about how to use a ruler, where it's 0, where it's 1, where it's 2, etc. Those things are really important. This video below here shows you exactly how to do it, so please make sure you follow along really well. When you get done, again, make sure you have someone check it. You should have 20 even boxes, 4 by 5. And in this video, I use a pen or a pencil and make it really dark just so that you can see it in the video. But you want to do it as light as you possibly can because you don't want to see the grid lines when you're done. You just want to see the portrait of the person. So as long as you can see it, it's dark enough. Make it as absolutely light as you can. And I've had students say, well, I'm heavy-handed, I can't do that. Yes, you can. Hold your pencil lightly. You're not taking notes. Hold it closer to the end as well, and that will really help you. Notice here, I'm pressing hard because I'm trying to make the lines dark so that you can see them in the video, but you want to do them nice and light, okay? Light. All right, class 4, you're going to map out your final piece, okay? So today you're going to look at your reference photo, which would be this one that you created using that gridding video, okay? And your paper that you gridded out, okay? So you're actually going to work on starting your final piece today. Remember to do it as light as you can, okay? I have some tips for you, and you can see this is an example of mapping. Notice how light it is. You could barely see it, okay? The reason we do that is so that if we make a mistake, we can erase it, right? So you want to make sure everything is mapped out. Notice I just mapped out the outline of the face, eyebrows, eyes, nose, and mouth, and that is the order that you want to go in. If you have hair in your piece, just kind of map out where it would be. You don't have to worry about drawing the hair. There should be no shading done today. It's simply just figuring out where things go. I have some tips for you to help. One thing you can do is just count the boxes. It's surprising how your mind plays tricks on you, and sometimes you think things should be where they shouldn't be, but when your grid's set up correctly, it's like a proportion. So if the eye is in this square in your reference photo, it should be in this square on your paper. You can count the squares, make sure you're in the right square. You can break them down into 4 smaller squares. See how I did that here? And that helps because if you're trying to figure out, like, where do I put the eye in this? I know it's in the square, but I don't know how far it goes over. See, by breaking them down, it makes it so much easier. Now, since you have your picture digitally, the reference that you're using, you can just eyeball those and kind of see what quadrant it would be in, but that's really going to help. You can also turn it upside down because it's mathematically correct, and sometimes when we're not looking at eyes, noses, and mouth, and we're just looking at lines and shapes, it helps us see where things should be. So I wrote some other tips in here for you that you guys can go over as a class. Today your goal is to get everything mapped out correctly in the right places. And then we'll move on to some shading in another class. All right, so our next class is going to be shading. And this is class 5 through 7. So I'm giving you class 5, 6, and 7 to shade and more, but just to kind of get started. So you're going to want to look at step to start. Notice how you can see my cross-hatching in this piece, right? I had it mapped out. I mapped out the highlights. I mapped out where everything should go. And then I'm adding cross-hatching in small areas at a time. It looks rough at first, and that's okay, all right? The more layers you add, the better it'll look. You also want to make sure you erase your grid lines as you shade over an area so you don't see the grid lines underneath it, and you don't have to erase them later because then they'll just be white grid lines instead of black grid lines. So you're going to start shading. It's just going to be real rough until you get enough layers. Then as you continue adding more shading, those lines are going to disappear, okay? And we're going to do hair another day, but you can kind of see the difference in this one as just mapping things out and then adding value, okay? It's going to make a really, really big difference if you build those layers up slowly. You also want to work in a small area. If this whole side of the face is like a 3 value, don't just shade the whole face because it won't blend in. You have to do small areas at a time, and I'm talking about like shade this area, so you're cross-hatching, cross-hatching, then move on to here, cross-hatching, cross-hatching, then move on to here, cross-hatching, cross-hatching. I like to also start in dark areas and then work my way to lighter ones. Lighter areas are a lot harder than the darker ones, but keep in mind that the only places on your picture that should be white are the areas that are white in your reference. Highlight there, a little bit in the nose, a little bit in the forehead, and right there. Other than that, everything's going to have at least a 2 or 3 value, like you were thinking about the value scale. Okay? So that's what you're going to be working on for these classes. Trust the process. It's going to look rough at first, but it's going to be okay when you get done. Class 8 is going to be your self-evaluation, and I'll let your teacher walk you through that. Remember, it's not do this class, but this is going to help you figure out where you are and what you need to do to improve the quality of your piece. Class 9 is going to be hair. I wrote some hair tips down here for you to help. This video breaks it down into 3 easy steps. I added some other hair videos at the bottom of this video that will really, really help you. And they're just at the bottom of this page. But any type of hair you do, these 3 steps apply. Okay, so this would be like blonde straight hair. But you could do this for dreads. You could do this for curls. You could do this for braids. Anything works, okay? So you're going to watch this, and then I want you as a class to go over these 3 steps so you make sure you understand what to do. But just some tips. Every color hair will have areas of light, medium, and dark. Even if someone's hair is black or white, it's going to have light, medium, and dark. Otherwise, it would look like a blob, okay? You have to see different values so that we can see where the light's bouncing off, where there are shadows, and things like that. You want to make sure that you shade in the direction of the hair. You have to make sure you pay attention to that. No cross-hatching in the hair. We want to see the lines here. We don't want them to go away. Remember the order that goes in the video would be medium, dark, and then light. There's a reason for that. Make sure you talk about that through just reasoning there. That will help you. And you can do it. It is tricky. I'm not saying it's easy at all. It does take time, but it's so worth it in the end when you get something that looks great. Class 10 and beyond, make sure you review the rubric at the start of class, ask other students what they think of your work and what can be improved. Continue working until it's done, sign your piece in the bottom right-hand corner with the year, then turn it in however your teacher has decided this process will take place. And this can be as long as you guys need or your teacher decides to give you for this piece. It will take a while, as long as you're trying your best and really striving for realism. It's going to take some time, but that's okay. It's meant to. If you finish early, I have a little challenge for you here. I also added some how-tos here. If you get stuck on an eye, I have a little how-to here for eyes. Super, super awesome. Nose, if you get stuck on nose, it's kind of the anatomy of how you shade a nose. Same thing with the mouth. Those are usually 3 of the big things, and hair, but we did a whole day on hair for you to do. I did this piece right here using the whole cross-hatching method. This is really big, about the size of half of a door. I used the cross-hatching method. These are some really helpful videos. So hopefully maybe your teacher will kind of like jumpstart class by showing you one of these each day. This shows the whole grid process, shading, the whole grid process, and these are the other videos on hair that are really going to help you. And here's some pictures to kind of show you the visual process of creating hair too, because I know that's kind of a hot topic. Here's some do's and don'ts kind of for the novice beginner. If you want to watch those, you're more than welcome to. All right, I'm super excited to see what you create. It's going to take some time, but you are going to do a fantastic job. All right, good luck.